Why, hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know who this is. It's the D, Anthony Walker, for another installment of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters podcast, where pipe bombs matter and kayfabe doesn't. Hope you're all well. Hope everything is good. This week's episode, we're going to talk about Raw. We're going to talk about Smackdown. We're going to talk about TNA, as we always do. The main points, the points that matter, and we're going to talk as well about any other news in the world of professional wrestling. Now, before we kick off to Monday Night Raw's main talking point, I just got to bring this up. I had to flick through YouTube and certain other websites and that, and I came across a certain situation, if you will. WWE 2K15, you know, the beautiful wrestling game that's coming out at the end of the month, or the end of next month rather. Well, CM Punk is suing WWE over WWE 2K15. Now, he's not suing them because, they're using him in the game. He wants to be in the game, obviously. They're just using him because there's this rumour going around that apparently WWE are refusing to pay him royalty money for being in the game because he walked out on his contract, or breached his contract. It seems that certain things stupid, if you will. But I guess CM Punk has every right to do so. Like I said, I don't know if this is true. I really don't know if this is true. It seems that CM Punk is suing WWE. Like I said, it's only a rumour. And if it's the case, then he has every right to do so because, like I say, he doesn't want to be in the game. He wants to be paid for being in the game, which I'm sure everybody else is getting. But the rumour going around is WWE ain't paying him for him walking out on his contract, or walking out on the WWE the way he did. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But if it is true, then I don't blame Punk. But hopefully this won't ruin the schedule, and I highly doubt it will. It won't ruin the scheduled release date, which is October 26th in America, and I'm guessing I'm more likely going to be guessing it's going to be sometime beginning of November in the UK. Probably, I don't know. You never know. I might be wrong. But we'll see. October 26th, October 28th, it's one of them. It's at the end of October, I know. But like I say, we'll have to wait and see about that. Right. I'll get on to Monday Night Raw's main talking points. Raw's main talking points. Happy Labour Day, everyone. Can we interest you in a complete dissolution of law and order? Chris Jericho planned an interview with Randy Orton on the highlight reel quickly turned into a cluster of high caliber when the entire authority emerged looking for trouble, only to get it when John Cena and Roman Reigns were provoked into joining the gathering moments later. Although the insults and threats flew left and right, Triple H did manage to maintain order, or at least delay the inevitable Pier 6 brawl by orchestrating a six-man tag for the main event of Cena, Jericho and Reigns versus Orton, Rollins and Kane later in the show. Not just because it's best for business, but to determine who truly deserves to be the number one contender for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. For those of you that didn't see it, John Cena threatened to sue Triple H and the WWE if Triple H took that opportunity away from him. Maybe it was having Damien Sandow and his own personal makeup artist at ringside. Maybe it was an extra burst of aggression. Maybe it was just luck. Whatever it was, The Miz proved he's more than a movie star in a tag team match that teamed him and Cesaro against Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus, coming through for his team when it mattered the most. And he certainly has the bruises to prove it. Thanks to Sheamus unleashing the beats of Bodhern, 10 beats of the chest thing that he does, that defy count on the Awesome One. A particularly use of Sandow sealed the deal for The Miz after Sheamus and Cesaro briefly beat the hell out of each other and tagged in their partners. Miz attempted to activate his stunt double against Ziggler. Despite Sandow not being cleared to enter the match, Dolph zigzagged him away and Miz pounced with a skull-crushing finale to beat the Intercontinental Champion 1-2-3. Will that happen at Night of Champions? I doubt it. No apologies this time. Gold and Stardust's new rude crude Tood left the WWE Tag Team Champions, smarting yet again when the Bizarre One took on Jimmy Uso. Thanks to some sneaky interference from Stardust on the outside, Goldust came out on top when all was said and done. Not only did Stardust save Goldust from a pin by placing his leg on the ropes. He also goaded Jimmy into an over-the-top rope dive that took enough out of him for Goldust to capitalize with a final cut. The Cosmic Duo put a beating for the ages on the champions, taking a chair to Jimmy Uso's injured leg and leaving the title holder on the ground, holding his leg. Advantage Goldust and Stardust, I would say. Main event time. Perhaps the display was convincing enough since Triple H was seemingly on the fence about John Cena remaining number one contender to the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar. The COO orchestrated a 6-man tag between the Authority, henchmen, and the 3 fan favorites to determine the Beast's best for business opponent. Each man in the match acquitted himself well, particularly Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins was no slouch either, working in tandem with Kane to keep Reigns at bay. Jericho nearly tapped Rollins out with the Walls of Jericho in the midst of the evening's first 6-way brawl. Another would follow moments later, and Cena, of course, was the X-Factor, tagging in late in the game and felling Kane with an attitude adjustment. The C-Nation leader was so confident in his display that he allowed Reigns to finish the job with a spear, promising Triple H face-to-face moments later that he was ready for Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. And also attitude adjusting Seth Rollins on the announce table in the process. You know, to see what happens this week on Raw. But it seems Cena is ready for Brock Lesnar. TNA Impact Wrestling opened up this week with the World Heavyweight Champion. TNA Impact Wrestling opened up this week with the World Heavyweight Champion, MVP, and Kenny King. And MVP claims there's no one tougher than Lashley. Well, tell that to the X Division champion, Samoa Joe, as he interrupts MVP's claim. Joe challenges Lashley to a one-on-one match. Kenny King cautions Joe, to which he responds with a punch to King's face. Joe, that be. MVP attack Joe. MVP and co attack Joe, and Lashley accepts the challenge. You know, to see what happens. Ethan Carter III entered Impact, claiming to be sickened by everyone who cheered for his Aunt Dee being put through a table. He says that the Carter charity ends and that his first victim was Rhino. EC3 says his violence will continue until his list of demands is met. He asks Rockstar Spud for his list of demands. Spud is empty-handed. He demands the immediate termination of Bully Ray, the banning of the words hardcore and extreme, and the final demand is for respect. The trio chants "You can wrestle." He disagrees and says, "I'm a Carter and the world needs us." Rhino hops the guardrail and attacks EC3. Rhino issues a challenge. EC3 accepts and says his opponent tonight is Rockstar Spud. You know, see what happens in that match later on. EY and Rude lock up in the center of the ring. A split audience erupts. "Let's go EY, let's go Bobby" chant as the two men battle out for the World Heavyweight Championship number one contender spot. Eric Young takes Rude down with a flying clothesline and a missile dropkick to score the 2 count. Rude storms in the ring and hits EY with a high knee left, a powerful clothesline, and a giant diving neckbreaker, which is a blockbuster. EY tries fighting back, but Rude powers him down with a spinebuster. EY is able to fight back, nailing a wheelbarrow slam and a moonsault from the rope. Rude kicks out and the 2 at 2 and counters a follow-up assault by EY. Rude locks in the crossface. EY reverses into a pin attempt. Rude kicks out, but he's planted with a spiked DDT. EY drives a diving elbow into the chest of Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode kicks out just before 3. EY motions for a power driver, but Roode reverses, and the two competitors trade numerous pin attempts. Roode turns one attempt into the Roode Bomb for a 3. Bobby Roode is your number one contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The bell sounds. Spud tries for an escape, but Rhino powers him into the corner and drives a shoulder into Spud. Taz calls Spud a feisty little rascal, but Spud's finest is no match. Spud's feistiness is no match for the dominant power of Rhino. Spud dodges the gore and brings a trash can into the match. Spud hoists the trash can above his head, but as he turns, Rhino hits him with the gore to end the match for 1, 2, 3. And then after the match, EC3 just walked away. Main event time. Joe is out first for the challenge, followed by the Dominator Lashley. Samoa Joe jumps from the ring to initiate an attack. Lashley powers Joe into the stairs. Joe begins fighting back and catches Lashley in the air, slamming him onto the floor. Joe lands a kick to the side of Lashley's head before driving his boot into his face. Lashley whips Joe into the corner and drives a running shoulder into Joe's gut. Joe counters the second shoulder with a choke, but Lashley reverses the choke, dropping Joe with a neckbreaker. Lashley brushes sweat from his brow and powers an elbow across the chest of Samoa Joe. Joe manages his way back into the match by powering Lashley down to the mat. Joe finds himself on top of the turnbuckle, but Lashley counters with a running power slam. Joe locks a rear naked choke. A distraction from Kenny King causes the break. Lashley slams Joe to the mat, but the Samoan submission machine is out at 2. Lashley breaks Joe in 2 with a powerful spear and beats him for 1, 2, 3. What will happen next on TNA? You have to tune in next Wednesday to find out. John Cena kicked off SmackDown with an impassioned message to the WWE Universe at WWE Night of Champions. The C Nation leader made it clear that he will get redemption when he faces Brock Lesnar for the World Heavyweight Championship September 21st. The 15-time World Champion's fiery speech soon produced a standoff between an all-star lineup of superstars that WWE COO proclaimed would make for a great main event clash. As a result, it was announced that Corporate Kane, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan battled John Cena, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Mark Henry, and Big Show in a massive 10-man tag. Will anyone stop Lana and Rusev? Anti-American discourse? We'll find out in Night of Champions when Mark Henry faces Rusev in a battle of superpowers. The world's strongest man cutting off the ravishing Russians' latest verbal attack on the United States, seeking an answer to the Patriarch Challenge. Lana accepted on behalf of the super athletes, setting up a huge head-on collision September 21st. After what happened on Raw Monday night when Rusev kicked Henry in the face during the tag match, and then Mark Henry interrupting the flag and anthem, the national anthem, when the flag was down, you could see this one come. Can Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, stop the one and only Russian? We'll see. Now on to the 10-man tag main event. One of the biggest main events in SmackDown's history didn't disappoint, as nearly 3,000 pounds of superstars battled to the breaking point in an explosive 10-man tag. The huge showdown provided to be an evenly matched contest, but SmackDown Squared Circle just couldn't contain these foes. The match eventually devolved into chaos as the referee was forced to disqualify the Wyatt family and their cohort for breaking up John Cena's STF on Seth Rollins and refusing to stop their assault. After the dust settled, the bodies of Rollins, Corporate Kane, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan were outside the ring as Cena, Roman Reigns, Big Show, Mark Henry, and Chris Jericho overwhelmed their rivals to fight another day. Right, I'm going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to run a couple of promos, but then after that, I want to talk about my views and opinions in the world of wrestling. But before we go to that promo, I just want to go back to what the TNA main points, and to something what Taz said during the main event. Taz said, and I quote, "Spike TV is making Wednesday nights cool," somewhere roundabout in that region. He said that Spike was making Wednesday nights cool and TNA was making it cool to watch hard-hitting wrestling on a Wednesday night. Somewhere roundabout that region. If you want, like I say, go and watch the match. Go and find the video on YouTube and you know what I'm talking about. But my theory on that is no one obviously didn't get the memo. No one didn't get the memo, or Taz didn't get the memo, from what happened a couple of months ago when Spike announced that TNA was getting dropped from their network. Spike making Wednesday nights cool by putting TNA's product on Wednesday nights? I don't think so, Taz. What you need to do is quit being a moronic commentator and start working up in the facts. Yes, you get paid. TNA tells you to do these things, okay? Blah, 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 blah. I get that. God, I miss the old Taz. And the Taz in WWE was a good commentator. But the Taz in TNA, boy, if you shrunk, as far as your commentary is concerned. Anyway, I'm going to run these promos. I'll be back after this. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker, the host of the Wrestling Matters podcast, and you can now check out the Wrestling Matters podcast on youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. You can now go to Podomatic.com, iTunes, and now also you can go to a new one. That's right, a new site, Stitcher Radio. That's right, we're on Stitcher Radio right now. I'm on Stitcher Radio right now, and you could be too. Get yourself on there, download their app, the Stitcher Radio app, or the Stitcher app, whatever it is. Make sure you download their app, and you can listen to it on your phone, anywhere you want, at any time you want, at any place you want. That's the Wrestling Matters podcast now on YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and Stitcher Radio. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back to the Wrestling Matters podcast, and make sure you check out the Sunday Segue not on them sites that is mentioned in the in that commercial. There's also Stitcher Radio and Mixcloud too. So them sites, Stitcher Radio, Mixcloud. So make sure you be sure to check out my boys at Sunday Segue as well. Now, I've been looking through, as I do, I like to give my views and opinions about the world of wrestling. And it seems that after Night of Champions, Brock Lesnar's next opponent is going to be the Big Show, because it's reportedly Big Show is in line for a shot at the WWE Heavyweight Championship after Brock Lesnar's match with John Cena at Night of Champions. So that's probably going to be either Hell in the Cell or Survivor Series, which should be interesting to say the least. Yeah, should be interesting to say the very least as well. And I think Big Show's in line for a bit of payback on Lesnar after what Lesnar did to him at the Rumble, if I remember correctly, beating the high holy crap out of him with that steel chair. So it'll be something good to think about. If you're looking up for this week's edition of Raw as well, apparently this Bella feud that's going on apparently is going to take a turn for the worse, probably, because Jerry Springer is going to be in the middle of it this week on Raw. So basically Monday Night Raw is going to turn into an episode of the Jerry Springer Show for a bit. Oh boy. This is when you think things can't get any worse. Excuse me, what? There is a possible spoilers floating around. Now, like I say, the possible spoilers, that means it hasn't been confirmed. One likely scenario for Night of Champions for that World Heavyweight Championship match is likely to go with Brock Lesnar to defeat John Cena with the help of outside interference, leading to a Cena feud with that person, and Lesnar to feud with another babyface until WrestleMania 31, 21, what the fuck? Roman Reigns, which is more than likely going to be in the process. The other option is to have Cena defeat Lesnar, Roman Reigns defeat Seth Rollins, and then have Rollins cash in on Lesnar and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Cash in on Cena, and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. I'd say scenario 1 would be more better. That would be just me. Scenario 1 would be better, but this is WWE we're talking about. Well, anything could very much happen. Yes, at Night of Champions as well, there's going to be a triple threat match for the Divas title, which will contest Paige, AJ Lee, and Nikki Bella as well, if I'm not mistaken, thanks to Stephanie McMahon's announcement this past week. Let me just check that out if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it is that as well. Pretty sure. Yep, I am correct. Paige will defend the Divas title against AJ Lee and Nikki Bella at Night of Champions in a Divas triple threat match. So what will happen, we shall see. There was also a possibility that Tony Chimmel and Lillian Garcia would be released of their contracts this week to get cheaper ring announcers come in and fill in, with all these budget costs and all that bullshit. But apparently that's not going to happen, which is awesome, quite frankly. I mean, why would you get rid of... alright, Tony Chimmel maybe, but why would you get rid of Lillian Garcia? I don't know. That was WWE news. Then I'm going to move on to TNA. So there's any TNA rumours as well. And I have got apparently Dixie not attending Bound for Glory. Speaking of Bound for Glory, there's an updated list of Wrestle 1 names that will be coming on No DQ's website. They'll be coming to Bound for Glory as well, which I'm taking from Tokyo, and the two of them feature the Great Muta and Tajiri. So I'm guessing, with that being said, maybe we'll possibly see the Great Muta versus James Storm, considering James Storm has turned Sonata into the Great Sonata, slapping a face to what I call it. It's also worth noting that TNA has not made note of Bobby Lashley's Bellator MMA win on Friday night. Apparently he won. Dixie Carter congratulated Lashley on Twitter, but there's no mention of the win on TNA's website. Not that TNA would care. I mean, it's supposed to be a wrestling show, not an MMA show, or a wrestling website, not an MMA site. Now, regarding TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley not being on the list of names for Bound for Glory from Tokyo next month, TNA did not want to commit to Lashley until after his fight Bellator this past Friday. How that fight on Friday night goes will reportedly know. Well, he won. If things did not go well, but it seems that if Lashley had lost on Friday, which he didn't, at Bellator, they would have took the title away from it. From what I'm reading here, but he didn't. I'm recording this bit on Sunday, so this past Friday, if he didn't obviously he didn't win, or he didn't lose the match at Bellator, so looks like Lashley may be going to Tokyo to compete on Bound for Glory. We shall see. As a World Heavyweight Champion, he'll probably lose the title as well. Apparently, the viewership has gone up for TNA Wrestling as well, and And this is, if you're interested, there's some spoilers on TNA's on No DQ's website as well, NoDQ.com. Shout out to Iron Ref, great website. Check it out. Make sure you check it out. And there's some spoilers on TNA's on the results on TNA's Turning Point pay-per-view taping as well. So make sure you check that out in the process. Right, guys, I'm going to end it there. Just give a quick few shout outs now, and then I'll end the program. EPW Wrestling. EPW Wrestling 1 on Twitter, Facebook.com/EPW American Wrestling, and check out the EPW YouTube pages as well, which I'll have in the description, as well as EPWWrestling.co.uk. Make sure you check them out. They're coming to Colby Newham, Middlesbrough, on the 20th of September. Now, a little quick plug here. Chris is the boss. Has had a little problem with me doing podcasts, because every time I go to a show sometimes, and I'm not wrestling, or even when I am wrestling, before I wrestle, I'm out the thing, wrestling on the doing my podcast work, and then I go to the back, get ready for what I gotta do, and come back out when I'm finished. Apparently that's unprofessional to Chris, right? It might be unprofessional to Chris, but it's not unprofessional to me, okay? If you guys are there, feel free to come over, or you listen to the podcast and you see me there and you know who I am, feel free to come over and say hi, okay? To hell what he says, okay? Don't do it during the show. Do it, say, the interval, or maybe after the show as well. Keep it that simple. But I've got a little bit of beef with Chris on that one, so I hope he's listening, because I haven't had time to come down and see him about it. But I will be there, come what may, all being well, knock on wood, despite the fact I have to work that day as well. I'm scheduled to work that day as well, with the butter. Anyway, October 31st, Maximum Pro Wrestling will be coming to Newcastle. Not Newcastle, it's October 31st, Maximum Pro Wrestling will be coming to, if I can find it, bear with me, just rooting through my thing here, my events thing here on my Facebook page. Where are we? Invites. Maximum Pro Wrestling, October 31st. Doors open at 6:30. They'll be coming to Pennywell Comrades in Pennywell. So make sure you get yourself down there. I would like to be there, but I don't know if I'd be able to. But make sure you get yourself down there and show your support to MPW as well, and show your support to Mark. I'm going to help him out the best I can, as far as promotional wise, and maybe some podcast work as well towards that, because blooming heck, the stuff the stuff that's happened and all that, and I mean what he told me in July 25th. Other than that, make sure you get yourself down there October 31st. To go off key as well, a little bit here. I know this is a Wrestling Matters podcast. This is a podcast on wrestling, but I want to promote something else. October 26th at the Middlesbrough Town Hall in Middlesbrough, legendary reggae band UB40. Yes, you heard me correct. UB40 will be appearing at the Town Hall October 26th. Tickets are £20, £8.50. I have no idea what that is in American or any other countries. You might have to check that out. If you can get to the Middlesbrough area, get yourself down there. Thank you, Avast, you piece of shit. Yeah, that's my Avast, ladies and gentlemen, on my computer. Like I was saying, get yourself down there if you can get there, because I'm going to be there, all being well. I can't even believe they're coming. It's going to be an epic night, and it's a Sunday night as well, so, which is a beautiful thing. So it's going to be a good Sunday night. Legendary reggae band UB40 are in town. Unbelievable. Also EPW, besides EPW coming to Colby Newham, they're coming to Redcar on the 21st. Sheldon as well. Sheldon September 19th. And they're coming to Peterlee Leisure Centre October 10th. So, like I say, for more information, go to the following websites that I mentioned earlier on, which is EPW American Wrestling on Facebook, facebook.com/EPW American Wrestling, EPW Wrestling 1 on Twitter, and EPWWrestling.co.uk for that as well. Also, make sure you tune in to cvfm.org.uk for my Wrestling Revolution podcast. That is on each and every Tuesday from 5:30 onwards. Make sure you tune in for that as well. And make sure you tune in to cvfm.org.uk as well, just for the hell of it. As well, it is a beautiful, beautiful radio station, and like I've said before on my very first episode of the show, that CVFM and the Wrestling Revolution podcast that I do on that program is partly the reason why I'm doing these podcasts, and I thank Idris for that. That is my phone going off, as you can probably hear. Also, check out Crystal Taggins on Twitter, on Twitter. Yeah, check her out on Twitter, but mainly check her out on the YouTube as well. She does wrestling news and stuff, all sorts of stuff as well, and just does her own thing on there, like her own chat and that. It's called Crystal Taggins. Crystal Tags in on the YouTube site, and you'll be able to see it. If you want, go to my YouTube page where this episode will be and look at the descriptions, you'll be able to see it. As well as check out Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, iTunes. Download this show for free on iTunes as well, and have a good week. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Sunday Segue as well. Sunday Segue, the only podcast in my opinion that matters besides this one. Well, besides this one and a few others at least. And until next time, guys, my name is the head Anthony Walker. The H, the E, to the A, to that beautiful D, if D's are beautiful. Until next time, goodbye.